here with all these executive orders, but we'll have everything as it unfolds right here on Real America's Voice.
Absolutely. You've got a great vantage point of the White House there, the goings and comings. Have you seen any Congress members, senators make their way to the White House? And I ask all of that in the context of the budget that's being worked out, a continuing resolution expected to be passed as soon as tomorrow. So one has to imagine that there's lots of work happening between the White House and Capitol Hill right now.
You know what's interesting is we saw that action on Thursday and Friday of last week. I have not seen anyone from Congress here at the White House today. Now, today is a fly-in day, technically, for Congress. They're out of session. They have proceedings a little bit later this afternoon, so that's kind of typical. But you don't see them on the ground here, but that doesn't mean that people aren't talking about it. And, of course, the CR, as you and I have discussed, I would never imagine that a year ago I'd be standing at the White House talking about passing another CR, another clean CR, but that's exactly what's going to anticipate to happen tomorrow, as President Trump has promised that we are going to make sure behind the scenes that some of the buckets of money that you and I have discussed, that America has discussed, that they don't want funding, a lot of DEI programs, a lot of initiatives that simply taxpayers don't want their money going to, that's going to not happen in the background. But on the forefront, it looks like we will have a clean CR passed tomorrow, and that is just a continuation of Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's budget. But that only does it, Terrence, until September 30th, and we get to play this record all over again, hopefully with a different tune.
Brian, I'm glad you brought up September 30th, because if civics class, if my performance in civics class reminds me, October 1st is the beginning of a new fiscal year. So if you do the dates, this really only gets us into a new fiscal year, which means we went an entire fiscal year without actually passing a budget.
That would be correct. That would be correct.
Okay.
And that is something that I don't think Republicans are too proud of that. And of course, if we get to September 30th and we just do another continuation of the CR, I think you're going to have a little bit more of an outrage than what you have now. But you're absolutely correct. But keep in mind, all these initiatives that America voted for in November, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. Those are three key elements that we must make sure that's in the next budget coming up on the September 30th, October 1st start on that. That has to be in there, or I think we're going to have major problems. But right now, we've been told that on the back end, we're going to make sure that some of those things that we don't want funded don't get the money. But we got to keep the country open. Imagine the Democrats right now, that's what they want. They would want some type of financial crisis. They want the government closed down, Terrence, so they can blame that on President Trump. And it looks like that's not going to happen. Now, they will pull some Democrats over for this, obviously, to help get this passed.
Absolutely. Brian Glenn reporting. Brian, I did want to get to security, but unfortunately run out of time. So next time we talk, we'll talk a bit about security and some of the changes happening there around the White House. You've got a busy day ahead, so I'll let you go on in there. Brian Glenn reporting, Chief White House Correspondent there at the White House. Well, we appreciate you being here with us. Now, let's get you back to your regularly scheduled program.
Firing off another hour of the Steve Gruber Show. Glad to have you here as we put our foot into the football to kick things off. Fighting for you from the foxhole field as we do every single day. There's no better place to be when you're looking for truth and answers and better analysis than anywhere else. Three big things to know this hour. Number one, it's been 50 days. 50 days, and I have questions. Where are the Epstein files, JFK files, RFK files, MLK files? Where are they? Maybe even bigger. What are UFOs? You told us we'd have the answers. Where are they? Number 2, more than 60 universities all over this country being investigated for anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. Harvard, Brown, Columbia, and the University of Michigan, among others on the list. Congratulations. Nicely done. And number 3, the Democratic message these days, such as it is, has become all about pushing hatred for anything that's considered pro-American or certainly pro-Donald Trump. They have become completely unhinged, disconnected, fearful, with no clear leadership or direction, certainly no coherent message to deliver to the American people. They are officially lost in the political wilderness. They're desperate to stay relevant, but they've got no solid ideas to promote or sell. They're clearly spinning out of control, terrified of where things are heading for them, which seems to be down the toilet, by the way. Politico's latest headline reads, "Frustrated Dems unleash the F-bomb." It's all they have left, apparently. Listen.
Somebody slap me and wake me the up, because I'm ready to get on with it.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Off.
Elon Musk and his hackers don't know.
To think that Elon Musk or Donald Trump give a about our public schools.
It's total absolute
Trump.
I don't swear in public very well, but we have to Trump.
Apparently Democrats think the foul language will somehow endear them to the common American, since their policies are anything but popular. They're desperate for your vote, but they're losing traction. It's obvious. Americans only respond to common sense, not wild, incoherent rants just because they drop a few F-bombs. They also don't respond to cringy social media videos. Here's 82-year-old Democrat Representative Rosa DeLauro trying to sound like a 12-year-old. Ah, yes, it's something to behold. Listen.
Ranking Rizzler on appropriations, serving Connecticut's 3rd District. It's time to enter your dark academia Congress era. All right, besties, House appropriation is the money moves in Congress. We are not chasing the bag, we are the bag. Democrats are making life smoother through government funding. It's giving, it's giving. So Sigma, main character energy. But Republicans' Project 2025 is mad sus.
Yeah, that continues on for quite a bit longer. I'm not going to make you watch and listen to it anymore. It's too much. It's just too much. Nice purple hair, though. The woman looks like a Batman villain. But she's apparently the Democrat Party's best foot forward? Really? That's what you've got? It's a very sad day when that's the case. Dozens of other Democrats are taking to social media to try to stay relevant, too. How about Eric Swalwell in what looks more like a hostage video than anything else? Check this out.
What a week, huh? You know how weird this week was? I went to the State of the Union, and the president didn't even speak. He just sat up in the visitors gallery like a total weirdo and let his press secretary do all the talking. What a week.
I guess that's supposed to be funny. There's that F-bomb again, though. No one thinks you're funny or relatable, Swalwell. You're getting paid to represent your constituents, allegedly the working class, not daylight as some social media influencer. And by the way, that's also the same Eric Swalwell that tweeted he had walked out of Trump's speech last week. You know why? Well, because nobody would have ever noticed that he had walked out if he hadn't pointed it out on social media, because nobody cares about Eric Swalwell. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro also took a stab at it all. Try this on for size. You know, I'm not even sure what he's trying to accomplish there. But how hasn't this party realized that abortion is not going to be their winning message? Yes, abortion is a dead issue for Democrats, and yes, I said it. One of CNN's political analysts had this somber diagnosis for the party, looking at their failed messaging, looking at their failed party, looking at their failure across the board. Here it is.
If you talk to Democrats, they recognize they are in a hole. I mean, the image of the party is probably in a weaker position than at any point since, I think, the 1980s, the Reagan and George H.W. Bush era. But
yeah, it's true, by the way. Democrat popularity at the worst point it's been since the 1980s, after Jimmy Carter's debacle. And if you think that was disheartening for the left, wait until you hear Democrat strategist Van Jones. He has this take on it all. Listen.
In terms of Democrats and where they go from here, this last week we did see them some people try to protest during the president's address, and then House leadership getting on to them, other Democrats calling them out. They still seem to be wandering around trying to figure this out. What's your take?
Can we ask another question? Do I have to talk about my own party? Can we talk about Ukraine or something? No. Look, man, we're screwed. I mean, we don't know. No, Democrats don't know what to do. This is a nightmare. Somebody like Donald Trump, we thought we'd at least have Hakeem Jeffries in the speaker's chair to hold him back if we didn't have Kamala in there to do the right thing. Listen, the Democratic Party is going through a massive set of internal crises. You have a party that got trapped two ways. One, defending a broken status quo that nobody likes because they thought that Donald Trump was going to make it worse. But when you're defending the status quo, you're going to lose. And then offending most people in the country, calling everybody sexist and racist and transphobic and every other name, and then saying, please follow us. That's not a good strategy, folks. Defending a broken status quo and offending most of the country, turns out, is not as popular as my party thought it was going to be. And so it's going to take a while for people to get it figured out. I don't like talking about this. I'd rather be beat up. Can you give me something I can beat up Michael about? I don't want to talk about my own party.
I know. It's a tough question.
You got buried, Van, but he's right. He's right. It's not popular in any way. He was exactly right when he said the Democrats are screwed, because the Democrats are screwed. You see, Democrats could have distanced themselves from these radical issues. They could have veered from the influence of figures like Barack Obama and his DEI dreams that have turned into nightmares for this country. They could have cut ties with the extreme left and all its sewage and returned to their roots as a party that represented the American working class with patriotism. Presidents like Kennedy, Truman, even Bill Clinton at times. Far better than anything I've seen lately. Instead, they chose to immerse themselves in the sewer. Instead of offering real solutions, they've done nothing but scream and curse, their tantrums on full display during the presidential address last week. They take responsibility for none of it. None of it. I'm going to get more into that when we get back. Because the other thing, not only are they not able to craft a coherent message, when they're called out for it, they're not able to craft a coherent defense of their defenseless message. Oh, it's compounding. Oh, it's a train wreck. It is sewage. You're watching the Steve Gruber Show. Make sure you follow me on Twitter today. They're back up and running after a big hack yesterday. We'll tell you about that coming up later. Thank you for being here. picking up with accountability now, right? Accountability. Because they're not taking accountability or responsibility for their actions at the Democrat Party these days. You know, they put out the shadow boxing videos and other shameful and cringeworthy attempts at trying to be relevant. How about newbie Democrat Senator Andy Kim? He says it's Trump's fault that the Democrat Party can't be civil. It's Trump's fault they can't behave themselves, you see. Here it is.
So, yes, President Trump is bringing the rhetoric and the discourse and the civility in politics down. I don't like that type of behavior that I see across the board, across the entirety of that chamber, whether it's what we've seen with Marjorie Taylor Greene in the past or people on my side of the aisle. I do think we want to hold ourselves up to a standard. But what we see is that it's Donald Trump that's the one that's bringing our politics down to a level of incivility that I think the vast majority of Americans can't stand.
Yeah. How's that a winning message? Donald Trump, the sitting president, duly elected by Americans, 77.5 million, just makes us so enraged we don't know how to act like adults. Okay. Thanks, Andy. But hey, if that message doesn't work out for them, they're more than willing to play the race card as always, even though it doesn't really work anymore. Representative Al Green was censured, as you know, for unhinged screaming and cane shaking in his outburst during Trump's address last week. And he says the consequences for his actions are the same class as the KKK burning a cross in his yard. Oh, Lord, here he is.
Invidious discrimination in the House of Representatives. I'm a son of the segregated South. The rights that the Constitution recognized for me, my friends and neighbors denied. I had to sit in the back of the bus, the balcony of the movie, drink from a colored water fountain, and my relatives who committed some crimes were locked up in the bottom of the jail. I know what invidious discrimination looks like. The Klan burned a cross in my yard. I know what it smells like. I was in filthy waiting rooms, and I've been in places where I didn't want to be, and I know what it sounds like. I've been called all kinds of ugly names. So I know invidious discrimination. And when the speaker decided that I would be removed, and then there was this motion, this resolution to censure me, it became obvious to me that I was not being treated as others were. Mm-hmm. And candidly speaking, it is invidious discrimination, harmful discrimination.
No, please.
I don't...
Sorry, Al. Nobody buys any of that. CNN's polling found that 80% of Americans found Al Green's behavior inappropriate. In his defense of it there in the Breakfast Club, inconceivable. But Al wants us to believe it's racist to think any of that. That's right. Democrats are on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue again. And instead of taking any accountability, they blame you and me. Democrats will likely try to shout and scream their way through the midterm elections, but November made it clear that Americans are over those tactics. You see, the Democrat Party is not a serious political party at this point. Frankly, it may not survive. Especially now when geniuses like Representative Jasmine Crockett can't even remember what laws are supposed to be and how they're supposed to be enforced. Oh, she is a genius. Here she is.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations.
How would we know? How would we know if they're rapists, child traffickers, murderers, if we don't vet them at all? It's not a crime to come into the country illegally. Gee, Jasmine, you said it right there. And let me help you out. Right there. U.S. Code, Title 8, Chapter 12, Section 1325 says any alien who enters or attempts to enter the United States at any time or place other than as designated by immigration officers or eludes examination or inspection or attempts to enter or obtains entry to the United States by a willfully false or misleading representation shall be fined or imprisoned. Shall be. One or the other. Fine or imprisonment. If you're going to be drafting legislation as a lawmaker, you should probably be familiar with the laws that are already on the books, don't you think? It's embarrassing, almost as embarrassing as this from Kamala Harris, who still has learned nothing from the 24 election. When it talks about messaging and being lost, I mean, she's learned nothing. Here she is.
So we did DoorDash because I wanted Doritos. And the red carpet part was about to start. Nobody wanted to leave to go to the grocery store. So it was DoorDash. And I'm thinking about this, so I was willing to give up whatever might be the trackings of Kamala Harris's particular fondness for nacho cheese Doritos for the sake of getting a big bag of Doritos as I watched the Oscars.
All right. She thinks Doritos are just hilarious. She knows nothing about what it means to be relatable to average Americans. I can barely stand to even listen to that 30-second clip, and thank God I don't have to listen to her address the press as the President of the United States. We dodged a bullet there. Democrats are running around clueless and aimless. They have the chance to try and reclaim what they once stood for, maybe even become a party that is truly relevant again. Or they can keep following the Clintons and the Obamas and Kamala, who've lost their credibility, and just hope that the same Americans who rejected them on November the 5th are somehow willing to make the same mistake and give them another shot at burning this country to the ground. I don't think so. The Democrat Party has reached new depths. In fact, Democrats are the least popular they've been in my lifetime. But this is the one thing they've actually earned: to be despised. I hope they keep Jasmine Crockett out front. I hope Kamala Harris runs for governor of California to keep reminding people of how lost in the wilderness Democrats really are. I hope Josh Shapiro keeps putting out videos of AC/DC as his soundtrack. He's about as thunderstruck as I don't know what. It's remarkable. The Democrats lost in political wilderness. No message. Rudderless. Clueless. Hopeless. Welcome to the Steve Gruber Show. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, my friends. We need 25 new followers today on Twitter and Facebook. We're growing something here. You're part of it. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be right back. Here we go, rolling right back into it again. By the way, I've got a little bit of not great news here, and I'm going to be talking about this, by the way, coming up. 50 days in, where are the Epstein files? Where are the JFK files? Where are the files on UFOs, Robert F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, any of them? Any of the files we've been promised? Where is Kash Patel with my files? I need them delivered immediately. Anyhow, I'll get to that coming up in detail. I think we'll do that Thursday. Mark that on your calendar. We'll dig deep into where the files come Thursday. Filegate, all right? Meanwhile, late car payments rise to the highest level in more than 30 years. This is part of the Biden economic hangover brought to you by the Democrats, who have no message and have no idea what they're doing. Missed payments on auto loans by American car owners rose to the highest level in 3 decades earlier this year. 6.56% of people with subprime car loans are behind on their payments. Almost 7% are behind on their payments. Yeah, not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. And, well, hopefully Donald Trump can get this turned around. All right. How do you spend your time? People ask me all that all the time. Gruber, how do you spend your time? How do I spend my time to be more well-rounded, to have a better idea of America? Well, every day we have a choice. You can waste your time on mindless entertainment on your phone and TikTok and Facebook Marketplace, or you could do something important and get online with Hillsdale College that offers more than 40 free online courses, including the newest on novels like 1984, Brave New World, Darkness at Noon, and That Hideous Strength, all delivered by Larry Arnn, the president of Hillsdale College, a genius himself. He'll talk about it. And these books reveal what happens when tyranny takes hold, like the Democrats and the globalists like to see happen. At Hillsdale College, help you understand why faith, family, and friends are worth fighting for, because they are. Go check this out in your spare time today. GruberForHillsdale.com. No cost to enroll, easy to get started. GruberForHillsdale.com. Like I said, it's free. And you can spend your spare time learning something about this country, and you can then share it with your kids and grandkids or have them watch it with you. GruberForHillsdale.com. I'll take a break and be right back. It is the Steve Gruber Show. Don't go anywhere. Good here on the Steve Gruber Show. Hey, I'm glad to have you along for the conversation. Look, I spend a lot of time on Twitter every day and on Facebook and following your comments and so forth. And we've got this new deal that's going to happen here coming up, and I want to make you aware of this. This is why you should follow on Twitter. X, I got it. Is for this reason. We're going to be able to interact with you in real time, live here on the program going forward. Very exciting. All right, that's going to happen. Very exciting. And we're broadcasting and streaming live on Twitter every day and on Rumble and other places, but we're going to be able to have this live interaction with you, which we're very interested in. But yesterday, X was shut down by cyber attacks. And Elon Musk was on a program yesterday, and he said that attack originated in Ukraine. For real, listen to this.
There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced. Yes. It's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
It seems to be working today, by the way, because I get on. It's one of the places I find information on X that I don't find anywhere else, right? And here, let me give you a quick example. Here's a quick bite from Harry Enton at CNN. And I just glanced down. I just see this. It just got posted. It's probably from last night. Support for DOGE is solid. 54% of Americans support Elon Musk in his cost cutting for the Department of Government Efficiency. 54%. 51% support Donald Trump cutting jobs at government agencies that are frankly too big and have too many people. You know, I find information like that. So we're excited about what's going on, and X is back. Whatever happened, X is very adept. And apparently it was a coordinated attack, a multi-pronged coordinated attack against X yesterday and the social media platform, which has become the number one place for news, I think, for a lot of folks. You know, we go everywhere. We put our posts everywhere. But Elon Musk, when he bought that thing for $44 billion and was made fun of, boy, who's the fool now, right? By the way, talking about DOGE and cutting money, what about Social Security? What about all these people that are at advanced age? Now, the Democrats, I think this is some sort of a joke, but there are people listed on Social Security at advanced ages. And I'm not saying, and Elon Musk's not saying they're getting benefits, but some are apparently. So where's that money actually going? Listen to him.
Why are the 20 million people who are definitely dead marked as alive in the Social Security database? Why were hundreds of millions of dollars of Small Business Administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under, according to the Social Security? I mean, like, these must be some very enterprising 8-year-olds, you know.
And some pretty strong 150-year-olds.
Yes, exactly. As the president said, you know, we have an enormous number of people marked as alive who are 160. He didn't know the country was that healthy.
Didn't know the country was that healthy. No, probably not. So Elon Musk has become part of the staple of the daily or maybe hourly news cycle. I mean, this news cycle we're in now, because of smartphones and laptops and iPads and all that, it's continuous. You can get lost in there, but that's why you've got me. I'm your guide in the darkness, this wilderness of electronic information. I'm your cyber cop out there, all right? Don't worry about it. I got this. And Elon says, when you talk about all this panic on the left and all the attacks, I think you have DOGE derangement syndrome. I've said it before, DOGE derangement syndrome, which is like an extension of Trump derangement syndrome. They hate Donald Trump so much that anybody in Trump's circle therefore becomes hated. And they'll go so far as to break windows and attack Teslas because that's Elon Musk's company. I saw a video of a guy running down the street kicking and swinging at a Tesla truck, a cyber truck. Because it's a Tesla? I guess. These people are nuts. Yeah, they are. But he says the reason they're going crazy, Elon Musk says the reason they're going crazy, and I agree with this completely, they're about to get cut off financially. They're about to run out of money, you see. Listen.
Where you'll see the biggest outcry is from the Democrats who are, they don't want the waste and fraud to be turned off. because it is a gigantic magnet to attract legal immigrants and have them stay in the country. And I mean, you see some of the crazy stuff, like where money from FEMA, which is meant, FEMA is an agency that's meant to take care of Americans in distress, and a bunch of their money was being sent to pay for luxury hotels in New York for illegal immigrants. And that was happening even after the president was elected, even after he signed an executive order saying that needs to stop. So we actually made sure that that money did stop going, because obviously it's outrageous that American taxpayer money is spent on luxury hotels for illegals. But you have to say, why was that being done? It was because the Democrats are trying to import voters, basically.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah, and that's also why there's no voter ID needed. In fact, in California and New York State, you're not allowed to show voter ID. Doesn't that seem insane?
Insane.
Yeah.
I'd say that as a New Yorker. It's insane.
Yeah, insane.
Not even allowed to show ID. Now, if you missed it, Trump signing an executive order putting states, localities back in the driver's seat after big natural disasters or whatever might happen. But Western North Carolina, the fires of California come to mind. Absolutely. And as you recall, remember in Western North Carolina, these miners came in from West Virginia, punched through roads where roads have been washed away, put together bridges using the beds of 18-wheelers and made it so the roads were functional again. Maybe not great, but functional. And FEMA came in and said, rope those off, close those roads. You can't do that. Those are not approved. Approved by whom? Donald Trump putting the power back into the hands of individuals and local communities and out of the hands of FEMA. They don't know anything about Western North Carolina or California, where these wildfires. Altadena, by the way, will never be rebuilt. A historical black community. Where are you, Democrats? Huh? Destroyed because they won't let people. The cleanup hasn't even begun in California. Did you know that? There's no bulldozers, there's no trucks, there's no anything going on. California regulations. Remember to support those that support this program. If you're looking to take control of your health at the Wellness Company, they offer doctor-formulated supplements and personalized care to boost your wellness. Whether it's immune support, heart health, or just feeling your best every day, they've got you covered. Become a member today and enjoy exclusive access to expert consultations, premium products, and health content. If you're ready to start, visit twc.health/Gruber. Use the promo code Gruber. You'll save 10%. The Wellness Company, your health, your way. twc.health/Gruber. Do that today and get started. So much you can find right there at the Wellness Company. When I come back, more on DOGE with Reagan Reese, our White House correspondent for the Daily Caller. Straight ahead. I'm looking at a couple of accomplishments here, first of all. Number one, Donald Trump has his entire cabinet in place now that his labor secretary has been confirmed. Bipartisan support, by the way. The entire cabinet is confirmed. At this point in Joe Biden's failed presidency, it wasn't even at half. Donald Trump came in with a mission and a vision, and he has been executing on it ever since, clearly. Joining me now, Reagan Reese, the White House correspondent for the Daily Caller. Reagan, nice to see you today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Donald Trump's lightning speed appointments and confirmations to his cabinet really paying off. His team is in place, and every one of them handpicked this time, not suggested by somebody inside the Washington Beltway. This is Donald Trump's team top to bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. And perfect evidence of that is the fact that RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel have all been confirmed. Those were the more embattled cabinet picks of President Trump's, but we were able to see them, go through confirmation rather easily. I figured out through my reporting that a big person who helped, sway Senate leaders who were a little on the fence about these cabinet picks was Vice President J.D. Vance, that behind the scenes, he is using his Senate connections. He is talking to them. He is getting them on board with President Trump's agenda. And so I think you can really give him a lot of credit for the fact that President Trump has his full cabinet on March 11th, about 50 days into his presidency.
Yeah, it is an incredible accomplishment. He's there. He's got his full cabinet. And it's not like he was going slow to begin with, Reagan. If you're the White House correspondent, you're running around from place to place, stop to stop, executive orders here, somebody sworn in there, another round table over here. It's relentless, isn't it?
Yeah, one thing that reporters kind of told me who had covered the first Trump administration while we were covering the Biden administration is that it's night and day between covering the two administrations and the amount of action happening on the White House campus. One thing to point to that's a perfect example of this is that there's constantly administration officials talking to reporters on, the White House drive near the press tents, whether that's Caroline Leavitt, Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem was seen there yesterday. They're all talking to reporters, giving questions, giving answers. I covered the Biden administration for a year. I can't remember the last time that a Biden administration official gaggled or spoke with the press, just on a whim near the White House.
No, it didn't happen. In fact, I was talking to somebody who is in there regularly, probably with you, and said during the Biden administration, you didn't see the Marines posted outside the Oval Office very often. When the president is on the job, there's a Marine posted there. I'm sure at this hour, right now, there's a Marine posted at the Oval Office because Donald Trump is in there early and he stays late. Some of these executive orders are being signed at 8 o'clock at night. 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. It goes on from sunup to sundown and beyond, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I was actually the White House pooler. So I was that reporter that's assigned to kind of do whatever the president does that day and write down everything he does. Yes, on his first full day of his administration. And they had given us the call to leave. They said, it's 7 o'clock. You're all good for the day. No more news is going to break. And so as I was walking out, that Marine was posted up outside of the entrance to the Oval Office. And I'm getting a notification on my phone. Trump just signed another executive order. Trump just pardoned whoever. Trump signed an executive order. And so as the White House was signaling to me that I'm okay, I can go home for the night, President Trump was still working in that Oval Office.
And making news, which you probably had to cover. Long days for you, Reagan, no question. All right, so he got together this cabinet of his and said, look, here's why you have to work with DOGE. Here's what you have to do. That's one of the things. And I'm looking at the numbers from Harry Anton again from CNN yesterday. Look, DOGE is popular. 54% of the people approve of what's going on with cutting government spending. I think the numbers are probably higher than that, but those are the CNN numbers. Good enough. And the point being is, even if those are the CNN numbers, that's solid support for what's going on in Washington, isn't it?
Yes, what we've seen from polls, I think the Harvard poll is the one that comes to mind. That was the first real poll that we saw. A majority of Americans really are in favor of what DOGE is doing, cutting unnecessary spending across the federal government. President Trump did convene his cabinet last week. It seemed to be a bit unexpected to talk about DOGE, and it was more of, I think, this team meeting was what I got from other colleagues reporting, and as well as the president's Truth Social statement. But also, we did see a bit of confusion when it came to this email that Elon Musk sent out asking federal employees to send 5 things they did last week or else they would be fired. And so President Trump in that meeting did clarify that the ultimate authority goes to the cabinet officials and their agencies, and that Elon will be making recommendations, telling them which staff members he doesn't believe should be in the agency, and then it's up to the cabinet officials to execute.
Let me ask you something, Reagan. If your boss came to you and said, hey, can you tell me what you did last week, 5 things, how long would that take you?
So I actually do this every week. I've been doing this every week for quite some time. My boss has me send everything I've accomplished in the week to him on a Friday afternoon.
Are you offended?
So not long. No, not at all.
Is it racist? Is it anti-American? is it tyrannical? Is it, is it whatever they say on them? No, it's called having a job, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I want to keep my job. And so, of course, I have to prove to him what I'm doing and, what he's paying me to do. And so I'm more than happy to do it because I like my job and I want to keep it.
Will you tell him that Steve Gruber gave you a gold star? Put that on my list of accomplishments. I was out with Gruber and he said I was great. Reagan, you come back anytime, really. I appreciate it and keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day. There you have it. Look, he's Donald Trump running these people like rented mules, one end to the other, to the other, to the other. And like she said, I'm leaving the White House. I'm getting another executive order, another pardon, another executive order. Donald Trump is working all the time. I guarantee you he's working for you right now as we speak. This is the Steve Gruber Show. All right, we'll get more into this in the next hour, but we talked a bit about this at the top of the program, and I'll dig deeper into this coming up in the next hour here on the program, which is 60 universities under investigation by the Trump administration for anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. Scott Jennings yesterday on CNN had to defend himself because he supports the deportation of this guy who led these anti-Semitic rallies at Columbia, who's not a citizen of the United States, right? Anyhow, let's see. Universities on this list: Harvard, Brown, Columbia, University of Michigan. Yep. You're the folks that are, how is it that anti-Semitism is allowed to run free? Run free. It's pretty frightening. Did you know scammers can literally steal your home right out from under you? The FBI calls it house stealing. It's a growing real estate scam targeting American homeowners like you. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee, and file it at the local recorder's office. And like that, you can find yourself in real trouble. They can take loans against that house. They can sell that house. It's your house, but they've scammed their way into taking out your equity. They don't care about stealing your TV or your jewelry. They want what's in your house. If you've lived there for 10 or 15 or 20 years, you've got massive amounts of equity, and they want to steal it. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. Their $1 million triple lock protection helps keep your home and equity safe. Here's what you get: immediate 24/7 monitoring of your property, urgent alerts if there are any changes, and if fraud should happen, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title at no extra cost. Here's the best part. I've teamed up with Home Title Lock to give you a free title history report so you can find out if you're already a victim and access to your personal title expert. It's a $250 value just for signing up. Go to HomeTitleLock.com, use the promo code Gruber, and click on the link for the description. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Gruber. Get the protection and peace of mind you deserve. All right. In the next hour, we've got Liz Peek from Fox News. I think she's one of the best. And we're going to talk more about these universities and the anti-Semitism that's been allowed to run wild. We'll be your voice in that political wilderness and give you better analysis than anyone else. It is the Steve Gruber Show. I'll be right back.